Members of the committee, thank you very much for this opportunity today. My name is Oscar De La Hoya. I'm a U.S. Olympic gold medalist, a 6th Division 11-time world champion, and now run Golden Boy Promotions. I care deeply about boxing and, more importantly, about the fighters who step into the ring and risk their lives for our entertainment. I'm here because I strongly believe the proposed changes to the Muhammad Ali Boxing Reform Act take us in the wrong direction. Today, you will hear many different perspectives, some that may want to discredit the decades-long work the sports stakeholders have already done to create a safe sport that puts fighters first and creates a free marketplace for fighters to negotiate the best deals for their families and for their personal legacies. I grew up in East LA with very little. Boxing was my way out. When I won the Olympic gold at 18 years old, I had promoters coming at me from every direction. My family and I didn't have access to legal advice. I signed the first contract put in front of me without fully understanding it. It didn't take long to realize I had been taken advantage of. That experience is not unique. Many fighters enter this sport young, trusting, and without resources. And once they are locked into the wrong deal, it is very difficult to get out. That is exactly why the Ali Act exists. I had the opportunity to work with Senator John McCain on this. As a national hero, a prisoner of war, and someone who loved boxing as a former Golden Glove fighter, he understood the risks fighters take and the need to protect them. The Ali Act reflects that commitment to fairness and to protecting fighters from being taken advantage of. Passed in 2000, the Ali Act addresses real problems, including conflicts of interest, lack of transparency, and the exploitation of fighters. It creates a system designed to protect fighters and preserve a fair, open marketplace. Those protections still matter today. This principal change of the proposed amendment allows a promoter to create an entity that serves as both promoter and governing body, a so-called unified boxing organization. This mirrors the existing MMA model and creates a closed system controlling rankings, titles, and access to opportunity. Under this structure, as long as the UBO complies with its own internal rules, it would not violate the Muhammad Ali Boxing Reform Act. Meanwhile, traditional promoters like myself would still be required to comply with full financial disclosures and reporting requirements. In other words, one system operates under transparency and accountability, while the UBOs do not. This is a fundamental shift in power that, if changed, would put corporate profits first, fighters second. We should be clear about who benefits from this. These changes align directly with what Zuffa Boxing and its leadership at TKO Group Holdings have already said they intend to build in boxing, a model similar to the UFC. And we already know what that model looks like, and it does not work for the fighters. The UFC and its parent company agreed to a $375 million antitrust settlement after fighters accused them of suppressing wages and restricting competition. At the same time, Zuffa Boxing is fully funded by the Saudis. We've already seen how that kind of funding reshaped another sport through Live Golf. We should be honest about what is happening here. That was sports washing, a clear effort to use sports to reshape reputation. Now, players who were drawn in by the money are trying to come back to the PGA Tour since the league will lose $5 billion in funding. This should serve as a warning. Transparency is just as critical. In current Zuffa contracts, fighters are locked into rigid earning structures with little to no ability to negotiate. The promoter controls all major revenue streams, including media rights, ticket sales, and sponsorships, while fighters are limited to guaranteed purses and discretionary bonuses, with only narrow participation in upside revenue. As an independent contractor, fighters won't have leverage when one system controls all opportunities. Under current law, fighters already have the right to see the financials behind every event they headline, giving them a fair opportunity to negotiate their compensation. I also want to address safety. The proposed changes suggest improved protections, but boxing already has strong safeguards in place and existing protections, including health insurance for injuries and life insurance for fighters' families. Commissions and promoters ensure fighters are medically cleared and cover related costs. If this proposal is truly about protecting fighters, why are MMA athletes not included at all? They compete in a similar dangerous sport, yet they are completely excluded. That raises serious concerns about whether it's truly about protection or about restructuring control of boxing. Fighters deserve real protection and real opportunity, not have to fight the system as well. If this bill passes, fighters will have fewer choices, less leverage, and less control over their careers. And when that happens, it will not be the sport that failed them. It will be us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. De La Hoya. Mr. Shipman.
These sanctioning bodies, there's an article in 1999 in the Los Angeles Times written by a Hall of Fame boxing writer named Steve Springer that talked about the corruption between the WBC at the time and Don King. George Foreman's manager around the same time said about the sanctioning bodies in the Los Angeles Times, they've taken so much out of the sport, they need to be totally destroyed. Then we could turn this sport around and take it back from the dark ages. The Crawford-Canelo fight, which Senator Rosen referenced, that was for the 4 different super middleweight sanctioning body belts. Terrence Crawford won the fight by unanimous decision. The WBC then stripped him of that title for refusing to pay a $300,000 fee for the honor of having that belt. Chairman Cruz, said earlier about the Los Angeles Dodgers being the World Series champions. It would be like if Major League Baseball went to the Dodgers after they beat the Blue Jays and said, no, we're gonna take this title away from you because you didn't pay us money. That's what it's akin to. They are terrible for the sport. They've ruined the sport. And by the way, the last thing on Canelo Crawford. So WrestleMania this past weekend, which Senator Rosen mentioned, Make-A-Wish. WWE does a lot of work with Make-A-Wish. John Cena in particular has made more wishes happen than any other human in the existence of Make-A-Wish. Make-A-Wish, a nonprofit organization, they bought $2,500 of tickets. The WBC for Canelo Crawford, they hold themselves out as a nonprofit. They purchased $265,000 of tickets for that event and insisted upon a suite for the president of their company. It's a mess. It's not just health and safety. Assume we all want more health and safety. It's about presenting an option. And by the way, if fighters want, as Mr. De La Hoya said, they want to fight for those belts, please feel free. We're not saying get rid of them. We're saying keep the Ali Act as is. Just provide this option for the UBOs, which we think is great for the fighters.
Well, perfect. I appreciate that very much. I did go to the Canelo fight in Las Vegas, so I helped some economic activity. So I'll be the first to invite Senator Rosen to WrestleMania in Cleveland, either 29 or 2030.
They had some meeting at Congress today about the Muhammad Ali Act, and De La Hoya was saying that for the most part, Zuffa's trying to end boxing. Now they just trying to enhance the Muhammad Ali Act. Nico Ali Walsh was there. I said I couldn't get nobody bigger than that there. I understand Muhammad Ali's grandson, and basically they standing up against Zuffa. Now let me go back to Sean Tizell. So he stood up against Zuffa. At one of the press, I think it was Crawford and Canelo, talking about his dislike and fighters' dislike for Zuffa taking over boxing, and how some of the stuff that they did and how they didn't pay their fighters the right way. And it turned around that I heard that Sean said that the fighters congratulated him behind his back, but didn't stand up with him and didn't stand on business. You gotta, that's just the way they is. That's the way they are, bro. If they really felt this strongly about Muhammad, and it's not like the Muhammad Ali Act is getting ripped apart. That's not the case. The Muhammad Ali Act is just getting the hand. You can get with what they got going on, with your manager and your promoter, or you can get with the old Muhammad Ali Act. But my thing about the old Muhammad Ali Act is, didn't Floyd Mayweather just sue a nigga? Didn't he just sue? Didn't he just get taken advantage of? Ain't PBC fighters who can't say nothing legally, didn't they get taken advantage of? Through the Muhammad Ali Act, how many fighters been fuck raw? Hey, Ryo said when he fought for Zuffa, that's the first time I seen where all my money was coming from. I seen where all the money was going. That's the first time I had transparency on my money. You know, and the people that's trying to stand with the old guard in boxing, what is so good about the way they doing it right now that y'all defending so hard? What is there to defend? As a consumer, I can care less about the money that they get. I don't care. Literally, I don't care. If you providing the best products and the best fights, I'm cool with it, bro. Just fight the best. I can care you. It's up to you to have your paperwork right. And I tell people that all the time when they come on to the job. Only you can defend your job. Only you can defend, protect your job. You read that rule book to know what you can and can't do at the job and your rights or the rights you do not have. Only you can protect your job or save your job. Only you can cover your own ass and save your own ass. It's the same thing here. If you got your paperwork right, you got your paperwork right. That's what I don't literally understand this thing. Oh man, they gonna do, guess what? Nobody putting a blick to your head and make you sign the Zuffa. Keep doing what you're doing now. But you know why they fighting so hard against Zuffa in Congress? Because they don't have no money and they know the fighters just going where the money was at. When Bob had the money, they went with Bob. When Al had the money, they went with Al. When Eddie had the money, they went with Eddie. Now that Turkey got the money with Zuffa, they going with Turkey. It's not that you act like they care about the moral compass of boxing. These the same people that defended Ryan Garcia for cheating, that still do business with Jarrell Miller, who still do business with Canelo Alvarez, who still allow T.O. and Ryan to have a platform after what they said about black. Don't tell me about moral compass, bro. Ain't no morality here. Is that, guess what? The same people that's funding Zuffa, Oscar De La Hoya was taking handouts for them. Eddie Hearn was taking handouts. Eddie Hearn was the one that kicked them off. Eddie Hearn and AJ was the one that sparked that relationship. Don't forget, Top Rank allegedly had connections who just got caught with Daniel Kinahan. Oh, you think Daniel Kinahan and Turkey ain't rubbed shoulders? It's all connected. If Oscar was Zuffa, and they said, we're gonna give you the set, well, you gonna, instead of Dana White, we're gonna put Oscar in there. We're gonna put Oscar. You think Oscar will be a Congress fight? No, Oscar understand. All my fucking fighters gonna go with where the money at. Oscar is done. And to talk about protecting the fighters, Canelo had money sued you. Ryan had money problems with you. Devin, you had problems with Devin. Virgil Ortiz, Juan Marquez. Let's keep going over and over again. Jamel Charlo said he had an issue with you. You promised him a Canelo fight. It didn't happen. What are we talking about? All this boiled down to is the depth of how the boxing was. They can combine together like Voltron. They can be Voltron. Matchroom, Queensberry, Top Rank, Golden Boy, PBC. It's too late. When they should have worked together and locked it down, they played around and Bud exposed them. He said all them old ninjas know each other and they talk. So when you don't give the people what they want, this what happens. And y'all allowed this man to see how y'all work to get y'all private information. He paid y'all to infiltrate y'all to destroy y'all. He was a boxer fan. He didn't like the way the shit was going. He did something about it. He went to get Dana White. He worked with Frank. He worked with Eddie. He worked with Al. Just worked with Al and Ryan in Barrios or PBC. He worked with Oscar and he still chose Dana White. You got to ask yourself why. Why? He had a chance to work with everybody, but he chose him. Well, I can't stand Dana White and this, that. I don't give a fuck. If Dana White gonna put the best fights on, I'm with it. I'm with it. And don't separate Dana White from Turkey. Same person, same entity. So I don't really understand why y'all fighting against this so much. Y'all defending this shit. I know why they defended it, because whoever benefiting from the system don't want to change the system. don't want to reform the system. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not saying, hey, this is the way it's gonna be Zuffa, and y'all motherfuckers gonna be done. No, it's like they can come fuck with us or they can come fuck with y'all. However they want to do it. And they know they don't have the money to fuck with Zuffa. They're going to be ass out. They're going to be ass out. That's why they fighting so hard. What's so funny about it, they couldn't even get any good fighters to come up there and stand on business. They got Nico, Walsh. You couldn't get no top current fighter to come on there and stand up. You know why? Because they know the money gonna dry up and I'm gonna need turkey. So I'm not, the fighters is cowards. I ain't gonna say cowards, but they're protecting their own money, bro. They're protecting their own pockets. And you literally can't get mad at it. They're protecting their own money. Can't get mad. Because if I cross Turkey, go speak at Congress, cross Turkey, Golden Boy and them go out of business, and then I gotta go back and kiss Turkey ass? What if he be like, nah, fuck nigga, you spoke out against me, fuck nigga, I ain't fucking with you. What if he say that? Then you ass out. So I get it. Now I scrolled away and what? Because they benefiting from the system. Don't y'all be naive to this shit, dog. Don't be naive to it, bros. Stay woke. Stay woke. Don't be naive to it, bro. I'm telling y'all, I promise you. Don't keep caught slipping while eating your chicken. I promise you, dog. These motherfuckers they want to keep it under, and they had all the power in their hand. All they had to do was work with each other and make the best possible fights. That's it. That's it. All they had to do was work together and make the best possible fights. And they failed to do so. They failed to do so. They failed to do so. So, ultimately, it is what it is, man. And you got all these boxing fans, and so you keep they don't even know what the fuck the Muhammad Ali Act in there. Just keep it the way it is. Like, why would you keep it the way it is? You're not getting any fucking fights. The boxing is destroyed, and y'all happy about that? Like, get the fuck out of here, man. Especially you old niggas. I be seeing you old niggas, be bumping Oscar up online. Man, disappointing, bro. Disappointing. But y'all the same niggas wearing purses and fanny packs and trying to squeeze your big ass in some Mary jeans like you 25 again. Hit the link in the description. They say follow me everywhere, Linktree, X, Facebook, Kick, Instagram, the whole nine. I appreciate the love and support. Subscribe, thumbs up the video, peace.
Nico Walsh. I'm a professional boxer and the grandson of Muhammad Ali. I'm here as someone whose name is directly tied to the Muhammad Ali Boxing Reform Act. Not just as a fighter affected by it, but as part of the legacy that law represents. To build on Mr. De La Hoya's statements, fighters are labeled independent contractors. As a result, people say fighters will have options, that we can just go elsewhere. But when the same company controls who you fight, how you're promoted, and whether fans ever see you, it's not much of a choice. When one system controls access, choice becomes theoretical, not real. The Ali Act was built on a simple principle. The people controlling fighters should not also control the entire marketplace those fighters depend on. That separation exists to prevent conflicts of interest and exploitation. The new Muhammad Ali Boxing Revival Act would undermine that principle. By allowing one entity to operate across promotion, management, and matchmaking, it removes independence. When that happens, you fight who you're told to fight, or you don't fight at all. At that point, real choice disappears, and so does negotiation. This type of centralized system is already seen in mixed martial arts, particularly in the UFC, where a single organization controls promotion, matchmaking, and fighter contracts. In that model, fighters typically receive under 20% of the revenue, compared to boxing, where fighters can earn up to 80%. The newly proposed Revival Act pushes that centralized model onto boxing, behind the claim that boxing is broken. Boxing is not broken. If it were, UFC champions at the height of their careers would not be actively targeting boxing fights because of the fair pay. That movement is rarely seen in reverse due to the UFC's centralized pay structure. Boxing has never been perfect, but one of its strengths has always been competition. Multiple promoters competing for fighters creates leverage and fair market value. When that competition is consolidated to one system, leverage disappears. This isn't abstract. I'm living it. Fighters understand that speaking up can come with severe professional consequences. That reality creates silence, and that silence is part of the system. I've personally benefited from the protections that exist today. After one of my fights, I was notified that my opponent tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs. That fight was ruled a no contest. That process, testing, enforcement, and oversight worked, and it protected me. In another fight, I suffered a severe shoulder injury in the ring that required surgery shortly after. The current system ensured I received immediate medical attention and proper care throughout my recovery. These are real examples of the system working to protect fighters. That's the point. Protection should be strengthened, especially around health and safety, but not used as justification to restructure the sport in a way that removes power from fighters. The bill that the House has passed should not be adopted. We can protect fighters more effectively than we do today without concentrating control over them. If this bill is passed in its current form, it should not have my grandfather's name on it, as it would betray the principles that his act was created to protect. He fought for dignity outside the ring. This is about dignity inside it. Fighters should not have to choose between their careers and their rights. 55 years ago this year, my grandfather's name appeared on these grounds before this government, and he took a stand for what he believed in. He did it knowing there would be consequences. He did it knowing it could cost him everything. And this country, at its best, recognized the principle behind that stand. Today, I'm here decades later in that same spirit, not as a symbol, but as a fighter living through the reality of this system. This moment is not about the past. It's about whether we continue to stand on those same principles now, and I believe we will. Thank you.